Hello, everyone, and welcome to English Pod. My name is Marco.
I'm Amira.
Hey, Amira, how are you today?
I'm doing great. What about you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited about this lesson that you have for us today.
Yes, it's actually a very, very useful lesson. It's about someone asking his boss for an assistant.
Oh, okay, an assistant. What's an assistant?
Well, it's someone who helps you with your work around the office.
Okay, great. So let's listen to this dialogue, and when we come back, we'll take a look at all the interesting and useful vocabulary that you'll find.
Like I told you before, we just don't have the resources to hire you an assistant.
I understand that, but the fact is, we're understaffed.
The timing is just not right. The economy's bad, and it's too risky to take on new staff.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Here's an idea. What if we hire an intern? She would take some of the weight off my shoulders.
She?
Yeah, you know, a recent graduate. She could give me a hand with some of these projects, and we could keep our costs down.
That sounds reasonable. Let me see what I can do. Tony, I'd like to introduce you to your new assistant.
Okay, great. Let's meet her.
Hi, I'm Adam.
Oh, hi, I'm Tony.
And we're back. Tony, he's surprised, huh?
Yeah, he's, I don't know why, though, he's surprised. I think we should talk about that a little bit later.
Yes, for now, let's look at some interesting vocabulary and phrases here. Marco, I know you've chosen one for us.
Yeah, the first one that I want to take a look at is resources.
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 And that means, in this text, basically money.
Right.
So the office doesn't have enough money.
Okay. I've chosen another interesting word for you, and that's understaffed.
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 Now, understaffed means that they don't have enough people working there.
They don't have enough workers.
Right. They don't have enough employees.
Perfect. Okay. The next one is timing is just not right.
The timing is just not right.
The timing is just not right.
The timing is just not right.
Okay, let's listen to how we can use this entire phrase in a different situation so then we can understand what it means. Let's listen.
I was going to sell my house, but the timing is just not right. Honey, I think we should have a baby.
The timing is just not right.
Okay, great. I guess that makes it clear.
Yes, actually, it's very obvious that it means that it's just not a good time.
Right. Perfect.
Yeah. I have another interesting phrase for you, which is weight off my shoulders.
Weight off my shoulders.
Weight off my shoulders.
Weight off my shoulders.
So, to take weight off my shoulders is another way of saying to help me with my work or to take some of my work away from me.
If you have a lot of things to do and I come and help you, that means that I took some of the weight off your shoulders.
Yes.
Let's look at the next phrase that we have here, and it's give me a hand.
Give me a hand.
Give me a hand.
Give me a hand.
Okay, now this is not literal. It's not that I'm going to give you somebody's hand, right? Let's listen to some examples, and then we can come back and explain what it means.
Can you give me a hand with these boxes?
Neil, I'll need you to give me a hand with the sales reports.
Here, let me give you a hand with your suitcase.
All right. Give me a hand is another way of saying help or to help out.
Exactly, to help out.
Right.
Perfect.
Now, the last phrase we're going to look at here in this dialogue is keep our costs down.
Keep our costs down.
Keep our costs down.
Keep our costs down.
So to keep our costs down means to try and not spend so much money.
Exactly. Many companies, for example, now control how much printing you do,
Yes.
right? To
Yes.
keep the cost down of paper.
Yeah, so in other words, they do not want to have unnecessary spending.
Perfect. Okay, I think it's time for us to listen to this dialogue one more time. But I want everyone to listen and see why Tony is surprised at the end when he meets his intern, when he meets his assistant.
Like I told you before, we just don't have the resources to hire you an assistant.
I understand that, but the fact is, we're understaffed.
The timing is just not right. The economy's bad, and it's too risky to take on new staff.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Here's an idea. What if we hire an intern? She would take some of the weight off my shoulders.
She?
Yeah, you know, a recent graduate. She could give me a hand with some of these projects, and we could keep our costs down.
That sounds reasonable. Let me see what I can do. Tony, I'd like to introduce you to your new assistant.
Okay, great. Let's meet her.
Hi, I'm Adam.
Oh, hi, I'm Tony.
Well, you know, Marco, I think that Tony was really surprised because he was kind of hoping to have a female intern.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he was expecting. Maybe this guy is a little bit sexist. He thought that an intern should be a girl. But instead, he
got Adam.
Exactly, and it looks like Adam is really big and really tall because he's got that deep voice.
Right. An intern, Marco, do you want to elaborate on that?
Working at a company with a very low salary or sometimes no salary at all, but what you're gaining is experience and you're learning a lot of things. Everyone who has been an intern or had an intern knows that sometimes they are not treated all that well. Sometimes they just serve coffee or they have to do paperwork.
Or like photocopying things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But some internships are really, really cool and some are really good experiences for learning.
Yes, definitely. Actually, I know a friend of mine. She used to work as an intern in one of those really big companies, and she told me that she has gained so much experience doing that.
Yeah, I mean, even if you don't get paid, the experience that you get is really good. And that just opens doors for maybe getting another job. Or sometimes the interns get hired by the company to stay because they do such a good job.
Yeah, I think that's mostly the case, huh?
Yeah, that happened to me once. I started working as an intern, and after 3 months, I was hired by the company. So it does happen, believe me.
So you did a good job.
Yeah, of course. All right, folks, we're out of time today. I hope that you enjoyed our lesson, and we'll be back tomorrow with another really cool and really interesting lesson from EnglishPod. Don't forget to come to our website at englishpod.com, where you'll find some really great and interesting resources to help you learn and improve your English even more.
Yes, you should definitely do that. And Marco and I would love to receive your comments and suggestions that you can leave on our community forum. But for now, it's time for us to say bye.
Hello and welcome to the English Podcast Zone, your space to grow your English with real-life topics, clear language, and practical examples. I'm excited to talk to you today about something that happens in many workplaces around the world: asking for help when you're overwhelmed at work. Imagine this: you've got emails piling up, reports to finish, meetings to attend, and more tasks than hours in a day. That's when you might think, I need an assistant. But how do you ask for one? And what if your company says there's no budget? Let's explore some smart phrases and expressions you can use in these situations. First, you can say, I'm feeling overwhelmed with the current workload. This is a polite way to tell your manager that you have too much to do. Another useful phrase is, we may need additional support to meet our deadlines. This is more formal and often used in business meetings or reports. Now, sometimes your manager might respond with something like, unfortunately, we don't have the resources right now. In this case, the word resources usually means money, staff, or tools. It's often used in sentences like, we need to allocate resources carefully this quarter, or we don't have the resources to expand the team. If the company says no to hiring a full-time assistant, you can suggest an alternative, like hiring an intern. Here's a phrase you can use, what if we brought on an intern to help with routine tasks? The phrase bring on is a phrasal verb that means to hire or introduce someone to the team. And here's a great expression you can use when talking about needing help, it would take a lot of weight off my shoulders. This means someone helping you would reduce your stress or workload. For example, if someone handled the emails, that would take a huge weight off my shoulders. Let's also talk about timing. Sometimes, even if the company wants to help, they might say, the timing just isn't right. This is a polite way to say that now is not a good time due to finances, changes, or other priorities. Here's an example sentence, I'd love to launch a new project, but the timing just isn't right. You can use this expression in both personal and professional situations. So today, we've covered many practical phrases like overwhelmed, resources, weight off my shoulders, intern, and the timing isn't right. These are expressions you'll hear often in real conversations at work. When you're able to use them naturally, you'll sound more confident and professional. When a company is facing challenges, like a weak economy or budget cuts, one of the first things they often say is, we are understaffed. This means there are not enough people to do the work. You might also hear a similar phrase, we are short-staffed. Both express the same idea, too few employees for the amount of work that needs to be done. Here's a practical sentence, our team is understaffed, so we've all been working overtime. Or, the customer service department is short-staffed today, so there may be delays. Being understaffed is stressful, and it's okay to express that. You could say, it's been difficult to manage everything alone, or I'm concerned about maintaining quality with our current staffing level. These are respectful, professional ways to express the need for support. If you want to suggest a solution, one great phrase is, I'd like to propose hiring an intern to support ongoing projects. The word propose makes your suggestion sound more thoughtful and formal. Let's take a moment to focus on the word intern. An intern is usually a student or recent graduate who works for a company to gain experience. Internships are often unpaid or low paid, but they are valuable for learning and growing. If you're in a situation where budgets are tight, proposing an intern can be a cost-effective idea. You can say, an intern could help with administrative tasks, freeing up time for the team to focus on more critical work. This shows that you're thinking about efficiency and team success, not just your own workload. Now, here's a useful phrase that often comes up in this context, give me a hand. It's informal and friendly. You can use it when asking for help with something small or big. For example, could you give me a hand with these reports? Or I'll give you a hand with setting up the meeting. It's important to know that in professional settings, asking for help is not a weakness, it's a smart strategy. Good communication helps teams succeed. And when someone helps you, it's nice to say, thanks, that really helped lighten my load. This is another way of saying they reduced your stress or work. So today, we've focused on vocabulary around being understaffed, proposing solutions like interns, and asking for help using natural phrases like give me a hand and lighten my load. Keep listening and learning. These are the words and expressions that can really improve your confidence at work. In any job, managing tasks well is key to success. But what happens when there's simply too much to do? That's when smart professionals think creatively and suggest ways to keep costs down without sacrificing quality. This phrase, keep costs down, is commonly used in business. It means to reduce spending or avoid unnecessary expenses. For example, you might say, we are looking for ways to keep costs down during the next quarter, or one way to keep costs down is to limit travel expenses. This kind of language shows that you're thinking from a business perspective, which employers really appreciate. Let's connect this with hiring help. Hiring a full-time assistant can be expensive, but suggesting a part-time intern or freelancer could help keep costs low. You might say an intern could support the team without adding a significant cost, or we could contract someone temporarily to keep our expenses manageable. Now, let's explore a common idiom that connects to this. That sounds reasonable. You'll hear this phrase a lot in business discussions. It means that an idea seems fair, logical, or acceptable. Here's how to use it. We can start with a trial period for the intern. That sounds reasonable. Let's reduce the number of meetings each week. That sounds reasonable. This phrase helps you agree with ideas in a polite and professional way. Another useful structure is, let me see what I can do. This is something managers often say when they're not giving a direct answer but want to leave the door open. For example, if you suggest getting help, your boss might say, let me see what I can do. It's a soft, non-committal response that shows they are considering your request. These types of expressions are essential for smooth workplace communication. They help you suggest ideas, agree politely, and navigate conversations where decisions aren't final yet. Let's not forget the power of polite persistence. Sometimes the first answer you hear is no, but that doesn't mean the conversation is over. You might respond with, I understand the situation, but I truly believe we need support to meet our goals. This kind of sentence shows you respectful but also confident in your viewpoint. Today's episode gave you practical business English, keep costs down, that sounds reasonable, let me see what I can do, and strategies for suggesting help in a professional way. These phrases can make a big difference in how you're heard and understood at work. Let's take a closer look at a powerful workplace strategy, offering solutions instead of just pointing out problems. When you're feeling overwhelmed or the team is struggling, it's easy to complain. But strong professionals go further, they offer ideas. That's where the phrase, here's an idea, becomes useful. You might say, here's an idea, what if we brought in someone part-time to help with admin tasks, or here's an idea, we could reorganize the schedule to make better use of our time. This phrase makes you sound proactive and creative. Another helpful structure is, what if we, it's a gentle, non-pushy way to introduce a suggestion. For example, what if we delayed the launch by 1 week to finalize everything? What if we shared the responsibilities among the team for now? Using what if helps create a conversation, not a demand. It invites discussion and shows teamwork. Now, let's go back to the idea of hiring help. Suppose your manager agrees to bring someone in. When you meet them, it's polite and professional to introduce yourself clearly. You might say, hi, I'm Alex. I'll be helping you with the upcoming projects. Or if you're welcoming someone, say, welcome aboard. Let me know if you need anything. The phrase welcome aboard is a friendly and professional way to greet a new team member. It means you're happy to have them join the team. Sometimes surprises happen, maybe you expected a woman, and the assistant turns out to be a man named Adam. While it's okay to be surprised, it's important to be respectful. In business, it's never appropriate to assume someone's gender or background based on their role. A more open mindset shows professionalism. Let's also talk about interns again. Interns are not just there to do small tasks, they are often learning and gaining real experience. When you have an intern on your team, it's helpful to guide them and make them feel valued. A good phrase to use with interns is, let me know if you need any help getting started. Or, feel free to ask questions, this is a learning experience. This builds a supportive environment. And if you are the intern, here are polite, confident ways to offer help. Would you like me to take care of this report? Is there anything I can assist with? These are polite, useful expressions that show initiative and respect. So today, we explored phrases like here's an idea, what if we, welcome aboard, and how to interact respectfully with new team members. These expressions help you become a more confident communicator and a more thoughtful colleague. Let's shift our focus to another important workplace skill, understanding how to negotiate and persuade in a respectful, professional way. Often, we need to make a case for something we believe is important, like getting help, changing a deadline, or adjusting a process. The way you communicate your point can make all the difference. One of the most effective techniques is using facts, not just feelings. Instead of saying, "I feel like I'm doing too much," you could say, "Our current workload has increased by 30% over the past 2 months." This gives your listener something clear and measurable. Another strong phrase to use is, "The current situation is affecting our productivity." Or more specifically, "Delays have increased because there's not enough manpower to handle the volume." These types of phrases show that you're focused on results, not just your personal comfort. Let's also talk about the word overworked. This means someone has too much to do and not enough time or support. You can say, "Several members of the team are overworked," or "I'm concerned about burnout due to the current pace." Burnout is a serious topic in modern workplaces. It happens when people feel physically and emotionally exhausted from long-term stress. Bringing it up in a thoughtful way shows emotional intelligence. For example, if we continue at this pace without support, we risk team burnout. Now let's say you suggest hiring an intern and your boss seems interested. A great phrase to follow up is, "I can help with the onboarding process." Onboarding means helping a new person adjust to the job, introducing them to the team, tools, and processes. Another phrase you might use is, "Let's set clear goals and responsibilities for the intern so we maximize the learning and productivity." This shows you're not just thinking short-term, you're thinking about value. Here's a cultural note: in many English-speaking workplaces, it's important to speak up when something isn't working, but always respectfully. You can use phrases like, "May I suggest an alternative? Would it be okay if we explored a different option? I completely understand, but here's another perspective." These sentence starters show that you're cooperative and constructive, not confrontational. Finally, let's practice a useful phrase: "Take the initiative." This means to start something without waiting to be asked. For example, "She took the initiative to train the intern." "I took the initiative to organize the files before the audit." Employers value people who take the initiative because it shows responsibility and leadership. We focused on key professional language: overworked, burnout, onboarding, take the initiative, and persuasive, respectful ways to suggest changes. These are the tools you need to lead with confidence and make your voice heard. Now let's explore another useful area of workplace English: expressing uncertainty and being flexible when making decisions. In real life, things don't always go according to plan. Schedules change, tasks shift, and sometimes we just don't have all the answers. That's why it's important to learn how to speak with clarity, even when you're unsure. A very useful phrase is, "I'm not sure yet, but I'll look into it." This shows honesty, while also giving confidence that you will follow up. For example, "Will the new assistant start next week?" "I'm not sure yet, but I'll look into it." Another helpful expression is, "Let's keep our options open." This means you're not making a final decision yet, but you're considering different possibilities. It's often used in meetings or when planning future steps. Here's an example. "Should we hire another intern now? Let's keep our options open and see how the current workload develops." Now let's talk about delegating tasks. Delegating means giving responsibilities to others. This is not only important for managers, but also for team members who want to manage time better. You can use phrases like, "Could you take care of this part of the report? Would you mind handling the presentation slides?" And let's divide the tasks to work more efficiently. Delegation is a key leadership skill. It helps avoid burnout and makes sure that work is done on time and by the right people. Here's another expression: "Take something off my plate." It's similar to "take weight off my shoulders." When you say, "Thanks for taking that off my plate," it means someone helped you by handling a task. Let's go further and look at prioritize. This word means to choose what's most important and focus on that first. You might say, "We need to prioritize urgent tasks this week," or "Let's prioritize training the new intern before assigning more work." Knowing how to prioritize and delegate shows that you can manage time and resources well. These are powerful professional qualities. Finally, when changes happen, it's helpful to use flexible language. We may need to adjust our plan. Let's stay open to changes. Depending on how things go, we might reconsider. This kind of language keeps communication smooth and shows that you're a team player who adapts to change. In this episode, we explored key language for dealing with uncertainty. Look into it, keep our options open, delegate, take something off my plate, and prioritize. These are expressions that help you work better with others and stay calm, even when things don't go exactly as planned. And now, let's focus on teamwork language, the kind of vocabulary and expressions that help you build strong, respectful relationships with coworkers. Good teamwork isn't just about doing your job, it's also about how you communicate and support those around you. Let's begin with a powerful phrase, "We are all in this together." This shows unity and support. For example, "The deadline is tight, but don't worry, we are all in this together." It creates a sense of shared responsibility and helps reduce stress. Another useful phrase is, "Let's touch base." This means to check in or communicate briefly with someone, usually about a project or update. For example, "Let's touch base tomorrow to review the intern's progress." "Can we touch base later this week about the new task list?" It's short, friendly, and very common in workplace English. Now let's look at "keep me in the loop." This means you want to stay updated or informed about something. You might say, "Please keep me in the loop about any decisions regarding the intern." "I'll keep you in the loop once we get the budget approval." This is great for staying connected without needing constant meetings. Sometimes problems happen, even in the best teams. A polite way to handle it is to say, "Let's work through this together. How can we solve this as a team?" These phrases reduce blame and focus on solutions. Let's now focus on encouragement. When someone helps you or does a good job, it's important to recognize it. Here are some positive phrases to use. "I really appreciate your support." "Great job on finishing that report ahead of schedule." "Thanks for stepping in, I know you had a lot on your plate." The expression "a lot on your plate" is another idiom that means someone is very busy or has many responsibilities. Saying this shows empathy and understanding. Here's a grammar tip. In the workplace, it's better to use "we" more often than "I" when speaking as part of a team. For example, instead of "I need help with this," say "we might need extra support here." Instead of "I decided," say "we agreed." Using "we" creates harmony and shows respect for shared decisions. To finish, let's learn the phrase "step up." To step up means to take responsibility when needed. You might hear, "He really stepped up during the busy season," or "Thanks for stepping up when the team needed you." Today's language, "we are all in this together," "touch base," "keep me in the loop," "a lot on your plate," and "step up" are the kinds of expressions that build trust and teamwork. They help you not only speak well but also connect better with others at work. Let's now turn our attention to a critical part of professional life: feedback, giving it, receiving it, and responding to it with confidence. Feedback is how teams grow, improve, and solve problems. But it must be done with care, using respectful and thoughtful language. Let's begin with a helpful phrase, "I have a quick suggestion." This is a gentle way to start giving feedback without sounding too critical. For example, "I have a quick suggestion. Maybe we can organize the task list by priority next time." This phrase invites openness and signals that you're trying to help, not criticize. Another phrase you can use is, "Can I offer some feedback?" or "Would it be okay if I shared a thought on that?" These expressions are polite and give the other person the chance to accept your comment without feeling uncomfortable. Now, when you receive feedback, it's important to respond in a way that shows maturity and willingness to learn. Good responses include, "Thanks, I'll take a look at that." "I appreciate the feedback, it helps me improve." "I hadn't thought of it that way." "Thanks for the input." Avoid being defensive. Even if you don't fully agree, you can say, "That's helpful. I'll think about it and see how I can apply it." This shows professionalism and openness. Let's also talk about giving positive feedback. Many people forget that feedback doesn't have to be about mistakes, it can also highlight strengths. Try saying, "You handled that really well. Your presentation was clear and engaging. The way you supported the intern was impressive." Positive feedback builds trust and encourages others to continue doing their best. Sometimes you may need to give constructive criticism. That means pointing out an issue, but doing so with kindness and suggestions. Here's a useful structure. One thing that might make this even better is: example. One thing that might make your emails clearer is adding bullet points. This way, your feedback sounds like teamwork, not judgment. Now, here's a great business phrase. Let's circle back to this. It means you'll return to a topic later. For example, we are short on time now, but let's circle back to the intern's progress in the next meeting. This keeps the discussion organized and professional. Finally, remember the phrase open to feedback. You might hear someone say, "I'm always open to feedback," or "Let me know if you have any feedback on my performance." Saying this shows maturity and a desire to grow. So today's expressions, I have a quick suggestion, can I offer feedback, circle back, constructive criticism, and open to feedback, are valuable tools for building better relationships, growing professionally, and creating a workplace where communication is strong and respectful. Let's wrap up it by focusing on professional growth and how language plays a big role in developing your career. Speaking clearly, confidently, and respectfully can open doors, not only for better teamwork but also for new opportunities. One key phrase for career conversations is, "I'm interested in taking on more responsibility." This shows that you're motivated and ready to grow. For example, "I'm interested in taking on more responsibility in managing projects." Another great phrase is, "I'd love to build new skills in this area." It's positive and proactive. You might say, "I'd love to build new skills in budgeting or team leadership." This shows that you're thinking ahead and want to contribute more. When talking with supervisors or mentors, it helps to ask for feedback and support. You could say, "Do you have any advice on how I can improve?" Or, "Are there any areas where I could grow more?" These questions show you're serious about self-improvement and open to learning. Now let's talk about setting goals. In English-speaking workplaces, it's common to talk about short-term and long-term goals. You might hear someone say, "One of my short-term goals is to become more confident in presentations." Or, "My long-term goal is to move into a leadership role." Using words like goal, develop, and growth makes you sound focused and driven. A very common business expression is, "I'm working on." It's simple but powerful. It shows progress. For example, "I'm working on improving my time management." "I'm working on becoming more organized with my tasks." This phrase is often used during performance reviews or check-ins with managers. Let's also cover networking. This means connecting with people professionally to exchange ideas, support, and opportunities. A good way to express interest in this is, "I'd like to connect with more people in my field." Or, "I've been networking with others to learn more about the industry." Finally, always remember the power of gratitude in professional life. Saying thank you for the opportunity or "I really appreciate your guidance" leaves a strong impression and builds positive relationships. So today, you've learned phrases for taking initiative, setting goals, asking for feedback, building skills, and showing gratitude. These are not just words, they're steps toward growing as a confident, respected professional. Thank you for being a part of the English Podcast Zone.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Money.
Resources.
Not enough people to do the job.
Understaffed.
It's not a good time now.
The timing is just not right.
Remove pressure or stress.
Weight off my shoulders.
Help.
Give me a hand.
It's okay.
That sounds reasonable.
Hire.
Recruit.
Working too much.
Overworked.
Not enough people to do the job.
Short-staffed.
Reduce spending.
Cut costs.
Having too many employees.
Overstaffed. Let's try that faster.
Working too much.
Overworked.
Remove pressure or stress.
Weight off my shoulders.
Having too many employees.
Overstaffed.
Reduce spending.
Cut costs.
Hire.
Recruit.
Money.
Resources.
It's okay.
That sounds reasonable.
Not enough people to do the job.
Understaffed.
Not enough people to do the job.
Short-staffed.
Help.
Give me a hand.
It's not a good time now.
The timing is just not right. Now say the word and hear it in a sentence. Resources.
We would like to use more resources to increase our sales.
Resources.
We don't have enough resources to start a new project.
Resources.
Intel has a lot of resources for research and development.
Understaffed.
Hospitals in poor regions of Africa are understaffed.
Understaffed.
I did overtime last week because the company is understaffed.
Understaffed.
The factory is producing less than usual because it's understaffed.
The timing is just not right. The timing is just not right.
The timing is just not right for us to have a baby.
The timing is just not right.
I want to buy a car, but the timing is just not right.
Weight off my shoulders.
Could you help me plan the party? That would really take some of the weight off my shoulders.
Weight off my shoulders.
Finishing that project was a big weight off my shoulders.
Weight off my shoulders.
Winning the lottery took a great weight off my shoulders.
Give me a hand.
Can you give me a hand with these boxes?
Give me a hand.
Neil, I'll need you to give me a hand with the sales report.
Give me a hand.
Here, let me give you a hand with your suitcase. Paying $30 for new shoes sounds reasonable. Does that sound reasonable to you? Your salary request doesn't sound reasonable.